Asperger's disorder is a pervasive developmental disorder which typically expresses itself between 3 and 5 years of age. Some of the typical symptoms of Asperger's include inflexibility of thought and action, impaired communication, a failure to establish peer relationships, and a preoccupation with a narrowly defined area of interest. Many researchers believe that Asperger's is a mild form of autism because they share many of the same symptoms. Amanda, aged 16, and her brother Tim, aged 13, have both been diagnosed with Asperger's. In this first segment, their mother Colette describes their habits and daily routine. Take note of their typical symptoms, including their narrowly defined interests, impaired social interactions, and repetitive patterns of behavior.
There's all those repetitive, stereotypic, unique patterns of behavior, needing to have things perfectly arranged, not wanting things to change, being into a routine that they have to do it the same way every time. These kids eat the same thing for dinner every night.
If it were my choice, I would probably mostly choose mashed potatoes and green beans.
They both have certain things that they're really, really interested in. Tim is very into earning money, and I think the thing that started him doing that was a video game, and it got him into the agriculture thing too. He's really interested in that.
Like agriculture.
Agriculture.
Yeah.
Farming.
Yeah.
Do you like the animals or?
Well, I kind of like getting paid. I would raise cows and chickens because they give mostly because they give out more than one thing that you can sell. Yeah, like cows, you can get milk and meat and in a certain, and if you think of it right, it's kind of gross, but oh, how do I say it? Oh yeah, fertilizer.
Do you save any of your money?
Well, I save it up when I have something expensive in mind to buy.
They're not able to understand other people's perspective. It's really hard for them to do the mind reading that most people are able to do, to understand what someone else might be thinking. In our old house, we had a stairway to go up to their bedroom, and we had the rule that they weren't supposed to eat in their bedroom. So Amanda would sidle toward the stairway with her hands behind her back and not understand that we might figure out she had something back there.
People with Asperger's are often physically clumsy, their speech is mechanical, and their facial expressions rarely change. They also have impaired social interactions. Note that although Amanda attends school, she generally prefers to remain relatively socially isolated. As you watch, consider how Amanda's behavior contrasts with other socially clumsy teenagers. Finally, it is also important to note that Asperger's is a spectrum disorder, and therefore the severity of symptoms varies among people. Indeed, mildly affected children often go undiagnosed, simply appearing eccentric or odd. As you watch these segments, compare the extent of Amanda's impairment with that of her brother.
Mostly I like to stay alone. Mostly I like to stay home. Not like any of the girls there who are basically obsessed with makeup, boys, and boy bands.
You don't like any of that?
Nope, I don't.
Are friendships difficult?
Well, I don't think so.
Do you like boys?
As in boyfriend, girlfriend?
Sure.
Let me think. No!
Don't like boys?
Hmm.
Don't like holding their hand or?
No, I don't.
Why?
They mockingly say Japanese phrases in front of me.
Because they know you like Japanese.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Pretty nasty. One time I got really angry and shouted some weird thing that probably the whole hallway heard.
What happened?
Okay, they were shouting stuff. They were mockingly shouting things in Japanese, and they weren't even saying it right, for crying out loud. So, in a way, I threatened to dragon slave the school.
Do you guys play any sports or?
Nope. For some reason, I do not get the point of sports. I don't know, it never seemed to catch my interest.
Do you get lonely?
Not really. Another thing that annoys me at school, pep assemblies. They have basically no reason, they basically have no purpose whatsoever.
Why is that?
Well, basically, all they do is encourage the seniors to put down the other classmen, and another thing, they encourage certain actions that usually bug me, like screaming, stamping on the bleachers, and other stuff like that.
Although people with Asperger's may have normal intelligence, they often have difficulty with specific tasks that other people take for granted. For example, people with Asperger's have great difficulty interpreting facial expressions, and they are often unable to identify emotions in other people. With respect to language, people with Asperger's tend to be highly literal and are often unable to comprehend the metaphorical meaning in everyday sayings. In the following segment, note some of the techniques Colette has used to help her children overcome these difficulties.
We've worked really hard on getting them to understand that people's faces do give you information. It's not something that most kids with Asperger's are very good at. We have worked with them like right from when they were very young. I would make them look at my face and say, "Do I look happy?" When they were in trouble, they could figure that out.
Do you understand other people's emotions?
Well,
Can you
yeah.
pick up on their emotions?
Well, yeah. If they, yeah, I can tell if they're really angry and if I shouldn't really, and if this is a really bad time to ask a question.
Daddy's all tied up at work. Most people with Asperger's or autism wouldn't understand those kinds of things. They'd picture Daddy all wrapped up in ropes tied to the chair. But we've worked on those kinds of things, trying to help them understand what they might mean.
Do you know what it means to be between a rock and a hard place?
Between one bad consequence and another.
Very good.
Yeah, like if you do something bad will happen, but if you do the opposite, something else bad will happen.
Amanda really learned the rule that you don't run in the hall in school. And most fifth graders would not be so rigid about that rule that they would tackle someone and hold them down because they were running in the hall. But she did.
There is no cure for Asperger's disorder. However, people with Asperger's can still enjoy enriched lives and satisfying careers. They often go on to earn graduate degrees, frequently in mathematics and the sciences, and they can make significant contributions, particularly within their narrow areas of interest. In the final segment, the family reflects on their hopes for the future.
I think they're going to have a pretty normal, successful life. As far as having the exact things that other people are interested in having, maybe not. But what makes them happy, yeah, they'll have it.
Mostly I plan on being an author.
Author.
Yeah.
You want to write books?
Yeah.
What kind of books would you like to write?
Mostly things, kind of things I like.
Which is?
Let's see, fantasy, sci-fi, maybe even, maybe some darker humor stories. Well, I was thinking of maybe being a scientist who lives on a farm. Either that or testing out video games.
Testing out video games.
Yeah.
Video games and agriculture. That's a good mix.